Six Flags Great Adventure is my most recently visited park, and I got to go here about a week ago on Saturday, September 21st, and I actually got every single credit here, so it's we kind on my top 10 coasters at the park. They have a really solid lineup of coasters here, and this is just my opinion. You guys can disagree, but this is just what I thought. So let's just get right into the video. Alright, so coming at the number 10 spot is going to be Dark Knight, and this is the Wild Mouse coaster at the park. It is a mock Wild Mouse, like most of them, and it's definitely my favorite traditional Wild Mouse. Not my favorite overall, still like Raging Cajun more. But this ride is definitely really fun. The turns were really smooth, definitely not too jerky like some of the other ones. But they were going fast enough to the point where it wasn't like too tame, like Ricochet Carowinds, where it's just trimmed to death. But see, the turns were really smooth, the drops were pretty good, and some nice airtime moments. It was pretty comfortable. The theming's good, and it's just a pretty fun ride overall. It's one of the better family coasters out there, definitely probably one of the better Wild Mouses. And yeah, it's just a solid coaster. So yeah, that's Dark Knight. Alright, so coming in at the number 9 spot is the meme coaster Skull Mountain, and I was definitely disappointed. I know there's a meme going in, and it probably wouldn't be the best ride in the park, but I was still kind of let down, because I think you have to sit in the very back to get, the, airtime on that, surprise drop, because, yeah, I didn't find it that special. I thought it was just kind of weak. We rode the 4th to back, so we got assigned there with my boarding pass, me and Kyle, but yeah, I just thought it was kind of weak, so I guess you have to sit in the very back for it to actually be really good, but it was just kind of okay. I mean, it's still decent, and there's still some somewhat intense moments, but yeah, it just was kind of not that great, but it's still definitely the best family coaster I've ridden. Still the better of the 2 indoor coasters at the park. So yeah, Skull Mountain, kind of overrated, but still a good ride. Alright, so coming at the number 8 spot is going to be Superman Ultimate Flight. This was actually my first Superman Ultimate Flight clone, because the one at Over Georgia was closed when I went. But yeah, this is a pretty fun coaster. Really the only great moments are Pretzel Loop, but there's some other solid moments, like the drop. I actually got a decent bit of whip on. It's better than I expected. Some of the turns give like a little bit of whip. They're not super forceful, they're okay. Helix is not that great though. That's probably the weakest part of the ride. And the inline twist is fun. Like on, the other flying coasters I've ridden. As I mentioned in my vlog, I really like inline twists on flying coasters. They just give really cool like sideways airtime and like laterals, and it's a really cool sensation. But yeah, it's mainly about that pretzel loop, which is so intense. It really pulls you through. It's awesome. That's right, you feel like you're gliding and stuff, but it's nothing too special. But overall, it's a pretty fun ride. I like flying coasters. I definitely like Mad more than this, and maybe even the Flying Dutchmans. I don't know, I just thought they had better layouts. So this might be the weakest flying coaster ridden, but it's still solid. So yeah, that's Superman Ultimate Flight. Not terrible, but not spectacular. Alright, so coming in at number 7 is Joker. The SNS 40 free spin. This was my second free spin after the one at Six Flags New England, and I definitely got a better ride on this one. I did get more flips on the one in New England. I think I only got one full flip, and that was coming off the lift hill into that little dip. But this one I think I got like a solid 2, 3, or 4 flips, which was really fun. These are all pretty fun. The flipping is really fun and intense, especially when you come off that lift hill into that little dip. And you get some nice flips on those half loops. That's where you're most likely to get one. And you do get some nice rocking back and forth on the those little like airtime hill things. So it was overall pretty fun. Nothing too special, but it's definitely a fairly aggressive ride when you get a good ride on it. When you get a bad ride, it's just okay, but definitely if you get a good ride on these free spins, they're really great coasters, and they're really solid clones. Alright, so coming in at the number 6 spot is going to be Bizarro, the world's first flawless coaster. It's definitely really fun. It's my second favorite one that I've ridden, behind Dominator at King's Dominion, but ahead of Kraken at Zero Orlando. And it's really solid. It's pretty intense, good inversions, really smooth, a great whippy drop in the back row, just like Dominator. Good intensity, fairly long ride, and the theming is really great too. There's like a fire effect. There's like these rings at the bottom of the first drop. There's like this mist machine and the corkscrews. It's like this big metal thing that's really cool. And I also got a front row now on this coaster, which is really cool. You get some great, it's just a really fun experience. And they actually run mist in those rings, or they were when I rode it at night. It actually got kind of cold, but it's definitely really fun. And then you have that fire, which was cool. But yeah, it's just a really fun, flawless coaster. It's definitely a good, just a solid B&M coaster, and definitely a good addition to the park's lineup. Alright, so coming in at the number 5 spot is going to be Nitro, the B&M Hyper Coaster at the park. And this is definitely a fun coaster. It's, I think, my second or third favorite B&M Hyper, debating between Mako, but I definitely say it's better than Intimidator, but worse than Goliath at Six Flags Over Georgia. Well, it's pretty fun. Gets some solid floater airtime, some good intensity. There's valleys and a fairly intense turnaround and a really intense helix, which actually is like crazy. It really forces your hands down, and you can actually grade on it. It's slightly grayed out, but not totally on it. It's definitely really good. A lot of solid floater airtime, pretty long, great drop. I actually got a lot of room on all my 3 rides I got on it. And I got a back row ride, so I definitely got flung over and flung out of my seat on that drop, which was really fun. It's just a lot of fun elements, and it's pretty long, pretty smooth. I'd say it's a solid B&M Hyper, probably the middle of the pack B&M Hyper, but it's just not the greatest ride because I'm not the biggest fan of B&M Hypers. It's definitely a good ride, and I'd say it's in the middle of the B&Ms at the park. Alright, so coming in at the number 4 spot is going to be King Ka, the world's tallest coaster. And this is a crazy ride. It is super intense. It is just awesome. It's really iconic. It's been the tallest coaster in the world ever since 2005. Almost got broken by a skyscraper down in Orlando, but we all know what happened to that. And it's still the second fastest coaster in the world, behind Formula Rossa. It's just such a crazy ride. I do like Dragster more. I just think it does everything better. This ride's really fun. The launch is really, really good. It did feel kind of weird. The acceleration didn't feel natural. It felt kind of gradual, more so than Dragster. But it's definitely really intense, and it's still a really awesome launch. And especially the front row launch was amazing. I got a front row night on this, which was just so crazy. But my other ride was like a row 3 day ride. It's definitely really good. The launch is really intense. You get nice intensity going up the tower and like at the bottom of the drop and stuff. And, twist on laterals on the twist going up. But you don't get like airtime over the top or on the drop. Because that trims, you're definitely going a lot slower than Dragster. Or any airtime on the airtime hill after the drop. But it's still pretty fun and just really intense. And it's definitely really good. I'd say I do like it more than Storm Runner if you're talking about the front row ride, but if it's like a non-front ride, I'd probably prefer Storm Runner. But it's just really good, really intense, everything I like about Dragster. Just not quite as good, but it's definitely a really, really solid coaster. Alright, so coming in at the number 3 spot is going to be Green Lantern. And this is the B&M stand-up coaster, the second stand-up coaster I've ridden after Vortex at Cowan's. And this is an awesome coaster. It's really overhated. It's definitely really smooth. I didn't get any nut pain on this ride, which was good. I got some room. And it is really awesome. It's got some great inversions, some good whippy moments, a good drop, some good intense turns, and it's really smooth. It's just really fun. It's a pretty long ride, and it's just a really intense ride overall. That's what surprised me how intense this ride is. It's so forceful throughout the whole ride. It almost hurts because of how intense it is. It's that crazy, but yeah, it's just a really, really awesome coaster. And yeah, I do think it's a top 3 at the park. You might disagree, but I don't know, I just really like Green Lantern. Alright, so coming in at the number 2 spot is going to be another controversial one. This is Batman the Ride. This is my favorite B&M at the park. I just really like Batman clones and just B&M inverts in general, especially old school ones. They are just so intense, fast-paced, whippy, awesome rides. I just love Batman clones. It is a really, really awesome ride. This one's really smooth. A lot of people say it's kind of rough. It only had a couple moments I had banging on the 0-0, but it's definitely really good. It's about equal with the one at Over Georgia. Just the inversions are so tight and intense. Some whippy corkscrews and a really whippy 0-0. Some really intense, forceful, tight vertical loops. Really fun first drop. Some intense helices and bank turns. Just a really tight layout, compact layout. Just really, really fun ride. Fast paced. It's kind of short, but it's just a really good ride, and I love Batman clones. And of course, coming at the number 1 spot is going to be the legendary Intamin Prefab El Toro, the best wooden coaster I've ever ridden by far. And this is just such a good coaster. It's in my top 2. I'm not going to say where because I will have a top 25 coming out very soon, so I won't say if it's 1 or 2, so you guys will find out then. But it's just an amazing coaster. It is so intense throughout. It's such a draining ride, actually. That was surprisingly intense. It's like the i305 of wooden coasters almost. The airtime is so strong. You get floater and ejector. Those first 2 hills in the drop are amazing. The Rolling Thunder Hill is crazy. You get some floater hills in the middle of the ride, which are solid, but nothing compared to the ejector hills. It's definitely a lot more sustained, and it pulls you over in the back more, but in the front's more like abrupt and I guess stronger. I do like the back ride more though, because the drop is better. And I guess it pulls you into those valleys more. But it's really all the elements are good in any row. The airtime levels are just so good. The valleys are so intense. The bank turns are so good. The back-to-back rapid fire turns at the end of the ride are so whippy. And just really intense. The turnarounds in the middle of the ride is actually pretty awesome. It is a bit rough, but it's fine. It's really intense. And some great head chopper moments. It's a really smooth ride, really fast paced. It is a bit short, but it's definitely just a phenomenal coaster overall. And I just love El Toro so much. It's so good. Definitely the best coaster, Great Adventure. And yeah, I just love El Toro. Alright, so yeah, that'll be about it for my top 10 roller coasters at Six Flags Great Adventure. As you can see, this park has a really, really great lineup of coasters. They definitely have a lot of coasters and really good variety. I mean, they have an Intamin Prefab, a B&M Flyer, B&M Floorless Stand-Up, Hyper. They have an Intamin Strata. They have an SNS 40 Free Spin. They just have a lot of great coasters, and definitely looks to be getting even better next year with the addition of Jersey Devil, which is the new RMC Raptor coming to the park, which looks like an incredible coaster. Probably be the second best coaster at the park, I'd say, behind El Toro. Definitely looking to go back to Great Adventure next year to experience that, but yeah, it's definitely a really, really great lineup of coasters. It's a really great park overall. But yeah, that was just my opinion. Leave your guys' top 10 coaster Great Adventure down in the comments if you've been there. So yeah, that'll do it for this video. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you guys later. Bye.